Let's talk a little bit about this idea of peak performance state. The idea is that we'd like to, when we walk in and work with a client, be in the zone. Just operate from kind of a resource state that would maximize our ability to both ask good questions, to have a deep understanding, to advocate clearly, cogent, compellingly. So we'd like to operate from that, and yet, surprisingly, it doesn't always show up. And you wouldn't find, let's say, like a world-class Olympic runner, he or she wouldn't just kind of wander over to the starting line and say, oh, is the race about to start? Oh, great. Anybody see my starting blocks? Okay, hey, let's make this thing happen. They go through a very practiced routine of getting themselves to be in a peak performance state, so when the gun goes off, they're already performing at that Olympic level. So what would be the character? If you could assume any character at all, and then step into that character just like a famous actor in a Broadway play, how would you define that character? For example, I'm not saying this is it, but let's say you're a method actor and they hand you a script and it says, all right, so here's the role you're going to play. You're financially and emotionally independent. Financially and emotionally, you don't need the money, you don't need the praise, the acceptance, you don't need people to think you're brilliant. You just happen to like to help people. You have this particular interest, and if other people are interested in it and you can help them be more successful, you kind of get off on that. So imagine you stepped in that, and you stepped in so thoroughly, you believed it completely. How would that change your interaction? What would change there? Would you really say, hey, if there's something here that makes sense to you and I can help, let's do some good things, we'll have some fun, make some money. And if for any reason this is not going to work, this is not a good fit between what we do well, what you want, need, and value, let's just find out quickly, no problem, shake hands, part friends. I actually got a lot of other things to do. So let's kind of work together, see what makes sense. If it does make sense, we'll do it. If it doesn't, hey, no problem. So before you pick up the phone, before you walk in that door, you take a little bit of time for yourself. Whether it's a deep breath, whatever it is for you, and you get in the zone. You get in the zone, you walk in, and you're already operating from that space. And then you start paying attention. If you're in the zone, and then all of a sudden you're not, well, what got you out of there? What was the stimulus, the external, internal stimulus that all of a sudden got you out? How do you get back in? You start paying more and more attention. You find that after a while, you can maintain that peak performance state throughout an entire dialogue, throughout an entire interaction with a client. And it's exhilarating. When you stay in the zone that whole time, you're hearing things that you wouldn't have heard, you're picking up on things you might not have picked up on, your responses are just right on. It's a great, great feeling. So, rather than just kind of skip past where I say, oh yeah, I heard about that, take the time, figure out what your peak performance state is, and make it a reality. Make it a reality every time that you're going to interact with a client. Why would you want to work from or operate from anything other than your peak performance state? What's the point?